Alright, sorry guys, had a phone call coming in. I'm going to start illness of Adam over. And when the 930 years were completed, Adam fell ill and cried out in a loud voice and said, "Gather to me, ye all my descendants, and I will see them before my death." And all his progeny gathered to him who had settled, and he divided the three parts of the earth among his descendants, and all Adam's descendants assembled by him, for they had taken a position before his doors, in the place which Adam had made, and into which he would enter and address his prayers to God. And his sons told him, "What is this, Father Adam?" He told them, "I am sick, my sons." And they told him, "What is your illness, and how does a human being fall ill?" Seth his son replied to him and told him, "Father Adam, what has befallen you? Have you remembered perchance the fruit of the garden, and you longed for it, and you became sad yourself because of it? If it is thus, tell me, and I will go before paradise, and I will cast dust upon my head, and I will weep. And if only God hears me, let him send his angel, and he, the angel, will bring me the fruit of paradise, and I will bring it to you, so that you may calm your distress." And Adam told him, "My son Seth, it is not so. Rather I am sick, and I have pain." Seth replied to him, "Father, what is pain, and how do you have pain?" Adam told Seth, "Son, when God made us, me and your mother, he set us..." This is called Adam's story of the fall. Adam told Seth, "Son, when God made us, me and your mother, he set us in the paradise of delights to eat its fruit, but there was no plant in the middle of paradise very beautiful, concerning which God commanded us, eat not of it." But there was one plant, in the middle of paradise, very beautiful, concerning which God commanded us, eat not of it. And the serpent deceived your mother and caused her to eat of it, because of which now we are going to die. When it was the hour for the guardian angels to ascend to worship God, the enemy deceived her, and she ate of it. And she deceived me, my children, for I did not know. And God had divided paradise between us, between me and your mother Eve, so that we might guard it. As for me, he had given me the eastern and northern portion. To your mother Eve he had entrusted the southern and western portion. And there were 12 angels with each of us to guard us, until the time of dawn. But at each time of day they ascended there, and at the moment of their ascent the serpent deceived your mother and caused her to eat of the tree, for he had seen that I was not with her any more than the angels. She also made me eat of it, and I did not understand. When we had eaten, God became angry with us, and he told us, "You have therefore scorned my commandment. I too will scorn you." And he sent 7 evils upon us, to our eyes and to our ears, and as far as our feet, plagues and torments, plagues and portents treasured in his treasuries. This God did to me to cause me to perish through death. Eve's command to retrieve the oil. Eve said, weeping, "My lord Adam, give me half of your sufferings, and I will bear your present pain, for your suffering is due to me, and it is I who caused these pains to come upon you." And Adam told Eve, "Arise and go with Seth, my son, to paradise. Cast soil on your head and weep before God, so that he might give us grace. And God will send his angel to paradise, where the tree of life is, from which the oil flows out, so that he may give you a little of that oil. And you will bring it here to me, and I will anoint myself, and I will be healed from my sufferings. Then I will let you know the whole way in which we were tried." Encounter with the beast. Woe is me, for when I arrive at the day of judgment, all my sins will burn me, and people will tell me in the first instance, "It was you who did not observe God's orders." Eve called out and told the wicked beast, "O evil beast, have you no fear? Did you dare to fight the image of God? How did you take it upon yourself to open your mouth, and how have you thought to sink your teeth? Or have you not recalled the first order of God, and have opened your mouth against the image of God?" Then the beast replied to her and told Eve, "It is not from your greediness that your discount and your weeping come, but your discontent and your weeping come from your own greediness. For at the beginning of creation it was you who hearkened to the beast, the serpent. How did you dare to open your mouth and eat of the tree of which God had commanded you not to eat? It is you, because of whom the aspect of everything is changed. Now you will not be able to endure, if I start talking and rebuking you." Seth replied to him and told the beast, "Let your mouth be closed and be silent, beast, and get away from us, the image of the divinity, until the day when God will have you standing before him." Then also the beast told Seth, "Behold then, and I get away from you, image of God, dazzling splendor of God." And when the beast had left him, the beast fled far from Seth, and the wounded man went to the hut of Adam, his father. Arrival at paradise. And God sent to them the archangel Michael, who is in charge of the souls. And he told Seth, "Man of God, do not labor to supplicate thus concerning the olive tree, and command to anoint your father Adam." Michael's reply. This is not to be right now, but in the future times when 5,000 years will be completed. Then at the 5,500th year, the beloved Son of God, Christ, will come upon the earth to resurrect Adam's body from his fall because of his transgression of the commands. He will come and he will be baptized in the river Jordan. And as soon as he will have come forth from the water with the anointing of the oil, he will anoint him and all his descendants, so that they will rise at the time of the resurrection. The Lord said, I will admit them into paradise, and I will anoint them with that unction. So apparently, when Jesus was baptized, that basically baptized all the rest of the descendants that were in Sheol waiting for Jesus to die on the cross, so they were anointed during the baptism, and then they were allowed to be resurrected because Christ came back from the dead after he died on the cross. The return of Adam. But now go to your father Adam, because the days of his times are completed. In 3 days his soul will go out of his body, and numerous wonders will be seen in the heavens. When the angel had told that to him, immediately he was hidden underneath the plant of paradise. Now as for Seth and Eve, they departed from Adam's hut, and Adam wept because of the wound of the beast. And he told Eve, or Adam's rebuke of Eve, and he told Eve, what have all of us done? For an evil has come upon us and upon all our descendants. Indeed, tell your children what are your sins, for we will die, and misfortunes will spread over the earth. For we will die, you and I, and misfortunes will spread over the earth. All the descendants who have come forth from us will curse us, saying, it was our father and mother who brought this misfortune upon us. The portions of Adam and Eve in paradise. Then Eve began to cry, and she said, now hearken to me, my children, and I will tell you how we were tricked. It happened then that your father was guarding his portion of paradise, the east and the north, while I was guarding my own portion, the west and the south. And the devil came to Adam's portion, and there were beasts there. For the Lord had also divided the beasts between us. All that were male he had given to Adam, and all that were female he had given to me. And we each fed our own ones. Satan's encounter with the beast. When the devil came to your father's portion, the devil summoned the serpent and told him, arise and come to me, and I will teach you a useful word. Then the serpent came to the devil, told the serpent, I hear that you are wiser than all the dumb animals, and I have come to test your wisdom or science. For Adam gives food to all the dumb animals, thus also to you. When then all the dumb animals come to bow down before Adam, for day to day and from morning to morning, every day you also come to bow down. You were created before him as large as you are, and you bow down before this little one. And why do you eat food inferior to Adam's and his spouses, and not the good fruit of paradise? But come and hearken to me, so that we may have Adam expelled from the wall of paradise, just as we are outside. Perhaps we can re-enter somehow to paradise. And the serpent told him, how can we have them excluded? The devil replied and told the serpent, be a sheath for me, and I will speak to the woman through your mouth, and a word by which we will trick them. Serpents approached paradise, and the two of them came together, and they allowed their heads to hang on the wall of the paradise at the time where the angels had ascended to bow down to God. Then the devil changed himself into the image of an angel. He praised the praises of the angels, and was gazing in the direction of the enclosure to hear the praises. I stared, and I saw him like an angel, and at once he became invisible, for he had gone forth to bring the serpent. And he told him, arise and come, and I will be with you, and I will speak through your mouth, and that which is proper for you to say. He took on the form of the serpent to go close to the wall of paradise, and the devil slipped inside the serpent, and he allowed his head to hang on the wall of paradise. He cried out and said, shame on you, woman, you who are in paradise of delight, who are blind. Come to me, and I will tell you a certain secret word. And when I had come, he told me, Eve, and I told him, here I am. He replied to me and told me, what do you do in paradise? I replied and told him, God has sent me to guard paradise and eat of it. The devil replied to me and told me through the mouth of the serpent, well done. Do you eat the fruit of every tree which is in paradise? I replied to him and told him, yes, we eat all the fruit except for only one tree, which is here in the middle of paradise. For God commanded us, do not eat of it, so that you will not die a death. Then the serpent told me, I am distressed for you are like the dumb animals. God was jealous of you, and he has not permitted you. But I do not desire your ignorance. Rather, come and eat, and you will see the glory which is to be with you. However, I told him, I am afraid of dying, perhaps as God said. The serpent replied to me and told me, what is death, and how does one die? Death is life. I replied to him and told him, I do not know. He replied to me and told me, God is living, just so that you will not die. But at the moment when you eat, your eyes will be open and you will be instructed like God about good and evil. God knew that you will become like him, and God was jealous of you. Because of that, God told you, do not eat of it. Look at the tree and see the glory around it. As for me, when I had gone and I had seen its glory around it, then I said, this tree is good and its fruit is well known in my eyes. However, I am afraid to stretch out my hand and take it. But you, if you are not afraid, bring it out to me, and I will eat of it, and I will know whether your present words are true or not. The serpent replied and told me, come, open the gate, and I will give you of it. The entrance of the snake into paradise. And when I had gone to open the gate for him, and he had entered paradise, he went forth, and then he stopped a little. I replied to him and said, why have you stopped? But he, my children, began to use trickery with me. He replied to me and told me, if I have stopped, it is because I changed my mind for fear that perhaps if I should give you of it and you eat it, your eyes will be open and you will become like God, and you will know good and evil, and you will become prideful and become jealous of Adam, and you will not make him eat of it. And he will be like a dumb animal before you, as you were before God, because God was jealous of you. If you wish it, swear to me truly that if I make you eat it, you will not be jealous of Adam your husband, but you will make him eat of it and give of it also to him. I replied to him and told him, I do not know any oath how I could swear to you. And he told me, say, I swear by the plants of paradise and by the cherubs upon whom sits the Father, and upon which he descends to paradise. And if I eat and know it all, I will not be jealous, but will give of it also to Adam. And when he had made me take the oath, he bound me to it, gave me of the tree, and I ate. Eve's recognition of her sin. I was searching for leaves to cover my nakedness, and found none on all the trees, for at the moment at which I had eaten, the leaves from all the trees of paradise and my portion fell down. I took some and made a covering for myself, and stood by the tree of which I had eaten, my children. I was afraid because of the oath which I had sworn by paradise, in which I had said, I will make Adam eat of it as well. Temptation of Adam. Then your father Adam came. He had thought thus that a beast had entered paradise, and he told me, what are you thinking for, and why do you have this fig leaf on yourself? I replied to him, and I told him, do you wish me to tell you something or not? Until today we are like dumb animals. When I understood that of which the Lord had said to us, do not eat of this, and when I saw its splendor, I took of it and ate of it, and I knew good and evil. Now eat also of it, and you will become like God. Adam replied to me and told me, I fear lest God be angry with me and tell me, my commandment which I gave you, you did not keep it. But I told the Father, on me shall be this blame. If he asks you, thus say, this woman whom you have given me is to blame for that. He said, see the flavor of this glory. Then I gave him of it, and he ate of it and became like me, and he also took a leaf of the fig tree and covered his nakedness with it. Entry of God into paradise. After which we heard that through an angel God blew the trumpet. He had summoned the angels and told them, thus says the Lord, come to paradise and hear the sentence to which we are going to judge them. Adam told me, we have sinned, for God is going to come judge us. We were afraid and we hid. And God came to paradise, sitting upon the cherubs, and the angels were singing hymns before him. When he had arrived at paradise, at once all the trees cast off its foliage, and thrones were set up near the tree of life. And God summoned Adam and told him, Adam, where are you? Are you hiding from me, or how will a house hide from its builder? Or why have you hidden near the tree of paradise? Then your father replied and told the Lord, I have hidden because I'm afraid. I'm naked and I'm ashamed. And God replied to him and told him, who told you that you're naked? Have you scorned the commandment which I gave you? Then Adam remembered my words which I had said, do not be concerned for the blame, for it will lie upon me. And Adam said, Lord, it is this woman whom you gave me who deceived me. Then he turned towards me and told me, what have you done? And I remembered the serpent's word, and I said, it is the serpent who deceived me. The judgment of Adam and Eve and the serpent. God replied to Adam and told him, because you hearkened to your wife and disobeyed my commandment, let the earth be cursed in your deeds. May you work it, and it will give you no fruit. It will sprout only thorns and thistles for you. By the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. May you be with many sighs, labors and labors, and you shall have no rest. You shall hunger, and you shall not be satiated. You shall be affected by bitterness, and shall not taste sweetness. You will be tormented by heat, and will undergo cold. You shall be pauperize and shall not be enriched. You shall eat and shall not grow fat. You shall warm yourselves with fire, and you shall not be heated. You will soak yourselves with water, and it will draw back. The beasts over whom you sing, who you ruled, shall rise up against you. You shall be weakened because you have not kept my commandments. God turned to me and told me, why did you hearken to the serpent and abandon my commandments with which I commanded to you? May you be in toils and pains. May you give birth to many fruits, and when you give birth to them, you will despair of your life because of the torments and pains. You shall promise yourself that if you are ever delivered from the agonies, you will never go back to your husband, and you will harden your heart in the view of your great combat which the serpent instituted with you. But may you return at once at the same point. May you bear your offspring in hurt and return in pity to your husband, and he will rule over you. When he has said all this to me, he became very angry with the serpent, and he told it, you too perish and be cursed among all the dumb animals. May you be withheld from your food which you used to eat, and may the soil be as to you as food all the days of your life, and you shall go on your breast and on your stomach, and your hands and your feet will be taken from you. May you have neither ears nor nails, and may not even one limb remain for you. Let the precious cross which my son will take upon the earth condemn you because of the deceit by which you deceived Adam. But may you again be crushed and broken because of the evil in your heart. And I will set enmity between you and your offspring of the woman. She will lay in wait for your head, and you will lay in wait for her heel until the day of judgment. And I just want to take a pause real quick for that prophecy. As I read to you the beginning introduction, that prophecy is fulfilled. That's the painting that I did. When Jesus was on the cross, David had put Goliath's head in the mount where Christ was crucified, because Golgotha means Goliath of Gath, or Goliath or something like that. And so Goliath's head that was cut off by David was buried in the mount. And so when Jesus' cross was in the ground, that was the prophecy fulfilled. The cross was crushing the head of Goliath, and Goliath's head was like this, and he was nipping at Christ's heel. Adam's plea for mercy. Thus God said, and he commanded both of us to be expelled from paradise. Adam besought the angel and told them, wait for me to beseech the Lord. Who knows, perhaps the Lord will grant me penitence for that which I have done, and I will not go out of paradise. Then the angels waited for us to ask. Adam besought the Lord and said, I beseech you, Lord, pardon me for what I have done. Then the Lord told the angels, why have you been waiting before separating Adam from paradise? Is the blame mine? Am I to blame, or have I not judged justly? Then the angels fell to the ground and told him, bowing before the Lord, you are just, Lord, and your sentence is upright. The Lord turned and told Adam, you are not to remain in paradise. Adam replied to the Lord and told him, I beseech you, Lord, give me of the tree of life, so that I may eat before I have gone forth. Then the Lord addressed a speech to Adam and told him, you will not take any of it any more in your lifetime. I have posted burning cherubims and a turning sword to keep it from you, lest you should taste it and become immortal and boast, saying, I shall not die ever, and you will conduct the fight which the enemy has conducted against you. If you go out of paradise and guard yourself from every evil, you will die, and after your death you will arise in the future resurrection. Then indeed I will give you of the tree of life, and you will be immortal forever. When the Lord had said that, he commanded us to be chased out of paradise. And your father wept before the angels, but they told him, what is this, or what shall we do for you? Then your father replied to them and told them, behold, I am going out. Now I beseech you that at the very moment of my leaving paradise I may take incense from paradise, so that when I go out I may offer a sweet odored incense fragrance, and God will be willing to hearken to me. And the angels let him, and he took 4 sweet odored incenses fragrance, nard, saffron, reed, cinnamon, and that is what Adam brought from paradise onto the earth. Now therefore, my children, I have taught you the whole way. Oh, this is the death of Adam. Now therefore, my children, I have taught you the whole way in which we were tricked, and I beseech you to watch yourselves and not to stop doing good. That then is what Eve said in the midst of her children when Adam was lying ill, and on the second day his soul was about to go out of his body. Eve told Adam, why are you alone dying, and I am alive? Or how long shall I exist? Or what will become of me after your death? Let me know about me. Or that doesn't make sense. Basically, tell me about it. Then Adam told Eve, "Be not concerned, whatever you have done. If we must both die, you too will be set near me. And if I am to die alone, do not move me from my place until God gives you a command about me. For the Lord will not forget me, but rather he will seek out the vessel which he has made. Arise and pray a prayer to God, that my soul be commended into the hands of my Creator. For I do not know how I am going to reach the Creator of all, or whether he is angry with me, or whether he will accept me." Eve's confession. Hold on. Then Eve arose and went out from Adam's place. She did penitence and said, "I have sinned against you, God. I have sinned against you, and I have sinned before you. I have sinned before your elect angels. I have sinned before the cherubs. I have sinned before the altar of your holiness. I have sinned before the generations of the heavens. I have sinned before the birds of heaven. I have sinned before the beasts of the earth. I have sinned against you, God. By all my greed among all your creatures, I beseech you all. Your creatures of heaven and earth, beseech the Lord of all for me." While Eve was on her knees to pray, suddenly Michael came, and the angel of mankind. He stood and raised Eve up and told her, "Arise from that penitence, for Adam your husband has gone forth from the body. Arise and see his soul, how his Creator has already got to it." Angelic liturgy. Eve arose and put her hand on her face, and the angel went up again and he told Eve, "Raise your eyes and abandon earthly concerns." As for Eve, when she had raised her eyes toward the heavens, she saw chariots of fire and a light which went up, borne by four winds. They were so resplendent that no words could express it, and it was impossible to sound them out, neither from the front nor from the back. And angels were proceeding before these chariots. And when they had arrived at the place where the Father was, the chariot stopped, and the seraphs stood between him and the chariot. And I, Eve, saw 3 gold censers and 3 cups, and 3 angels come quickly upon the altar. These angels took a burning coal and put it in the censer, and set the censer upon the altar. And when they blew, the smoke went up and veiled the firmaments of the heavens. And the angels were praising God. They were bowing before him, crying out and saying, "God, forgive Adam, for he is your image and the work of your hands. He is your creature." And I, Eve, saw 2 great lights prostrated in fear before God. And I wept and told my son Seth, "Rise from near your father's body, come towards me, and see that which your eyes have not seen concerning Adam your father." Then Seth arose and went close to his mother Eve and told her, "Why are you weeping? Raise your eyes and see the 7 firmaments open, and see the likeness of father Adam, as he lies before God, and all the angels are beseeching him and saying, 'God, forgive Adam, for he is your image and your likeness, because it is you who have created him.'" "What is this then, my son Seth? Do they deliver the blood of my spouse to these Indians, for they were before God?" Seth replied to Eve and told her, "No, mother, did you not recognize those whom you called Indians in these colors of blood?" Eve replied to him and told him, "I did not know them, my son." Seth replied to her and told her, "These are the sun and the moon. They are prostrated, and they are beseeching for Adam my father. Where is the light of the sun? For it is no more with it. And why is it darkened thus?" Seth replied to her and told Eve, "Because its light has been eclipsed before God of all, and its light had become darkened by fear of God." Assumption of Adam to paradise. And as Seth was telling that to Eve, at once a great angel blew a trumpet, and all the angels who were prostrated on their faces stood up again, and they besought Adam and cried out in a loud voice and said, "Blessed is God by all blessing. You pardoned the protoplast." And when the angels had said these words, one of the 6 winged seraphims went towards him, Adam. He took Adam to the lake of Acheron, and he dipped him in it 3 times. Then he led him back before God, and Adam remained prostrate on his face for 3 hours. And after that, God stretched out his hand from his throne, raised Adam up, and gave him to Michael. And he told him, "Take him to the 3rd heaven, to paradise, and set him before the altar until the day of the oikonomia, which I contemplate concerning all the fleshly beings, with my well-beloved son." Then Michael took Adam to the place which God had commanded, and all the angels were chanting angelic psalms. They were praising this wonder, the forgiveness of Adam, and the promise of a future life. Adam and Abel's funerary rites. After which Michael cried out towards God, and God commanded that the trumpet be sounded, and all the angels assembled before God, each one in his rank, those who had held a censer, those who had a psaltery, and those who sounded the trumpet. And behold, the Lord Sabaoth rose upon the wings of the cherubs, And God first reached his paradise, and the flowers of paradise with their sweet odors were moved at the sweet odor of the glorious God. And all the children of Adam were breathless except for only Seth, for he was son of the greatness of God. And when the Lord had come to the body of Adam which had fallen in the earth, the Lord was sorrowful for him, and told him in a sad voice, If you had kept my commandments, you would not have fallen in that place, and your enemy would not have been able to see that he had caused you to be expelled in that place. But I will change his joy into sorrow, and I will lead you back towards this realm, and I will set you upon your enemy's throne, where he was seated, close by the place where his rebellion was discovered. He will fall in the place where you are, and he will see you in that other place sitting upon a throne. And after that, God gave a command to Michael, who took Adam back to paradise, which is in the third heaven. They seized threefold shrouds of cloth, and God told Michael and Gabriel, Unfold these shrouds and envelop Adam's body, and take the ointment from the olive tree and pour it upon him. And 3 angels dressed him in it, and when they had dressed Adam's body in it, God told them, Take Abel's body as well, seize other shrouds, and dress him in them also. For he had remained lying naked since the day when wicked Cain killed him, and he wished to bury him in the earth, and he was unable to do so, because his body came back out of the earth. For a voice made itself heard from heaven, and said to him, He will not be able to be buried in the earth before he who was created first has returned to the earth from which it was created. Then he took it to a rock, and it remained spread out there until the death of Adam. Thus the angels took him and dressed him like his father. God commanded that both of them should be taken up to paradise on the eastern part, in the place where God had taken some soil and created Adam. And God commanded Michael to dig. And God sent 7 angels to paradise. They gathered much incense from paradise, and they brought them to them. Then they took both bodies, put them into the grave, and covered them with the earth. Then God turned and called Adam. Adam's body answered him from the soil and said, Here I am, Lord. And the Lord told him, Behold, as I told you, you are soil, and you have returned to the soil, but I will raise you up in the resurrection which I promised you at the time of the resurrection. Then after God took the triangle seal and sealed the tomb of Adam, he said, Let no person touch it during these 6 days until your ribs return to you. Then God receded to the upper heaven, and each of the angels to his office. Interesting note real quick. Then after that, God took the triangle seal and sealed the tomb. And a lot of people, like I said before, think that New Jerusalem is actually in a pyramid in shape, or a triangle, a pyramid in shape. It's interesting. Maybe that's why they made the pyramids of Giza and all these other pyramids, to copy that, because they can't get back to heaven, so they copied it here on earth. Just interesting. I've thought that for a while. But Eve's prayer to join Adam. But Eve grew numb when she saw all that. Eve wept and wished to see where they had put Adam, for she did not know. When the Lord had descended upon the earth, the sweet odor of all the trees of paradise did not, because of his sweet odor, all had grown numb. Until the wrapping and the burial of Adam, nobody understood anything except Seth. Then Eve begged and she wept, so that God might lead her off, show her the place where they had put Adam. And when she had completed her prayer, she said, Lord, do not alienate me from Adam's place, but command me also to be with him, as we both were in paradise, inseparable from one another. Do not separate us in our death, but place me where you have placed him. And after this prayer, she gave up her soul. Eve's funeral and epilogue. And the angel Michael came and taught Seth how to dress Eve. 3 angels came and took Eve's body and placed it where they had placed Adam's body. And after that, the angel Michael told him, Thus dress every dead person who dies until the death of all human beings. When he had taught Seth all that, he ascended to the uppermost heaven far from Seth, and he told him, Do not mourn for the dead more than 5 days, and on the 7th day rejoice, for on that day God rested from all his works, which the Lord had made. To him is glory and honor, adoration, with the Father and the Holy Spirit, now and forever and ever. Amen. The next one is the Testament of Abraham, so I'm going to stop here and we'll continue on. Now we're on page 50 of the Testament of the Patriarchs and Prophets. So we'll pick that up on the other side. Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll talk to you soon.